for this session, whether it's morning, evening, anywhere you are around the world. Thank you so much for being here. This is the Collaborative Apps Roundtable. My name is Maiwa Agwade. I'm a product manager with Microsoft Teams, and we will be taking you through this session today. Thank you for your time and thank you for registering. It promises to be an interactive session, and we will be talking about all things collaborative apps, wherever, no matter your department, no matter the team you work for, there will definitely be a collaborative app that, would speak to one of your needs, we believe, from this session. So I'll just dive right in because of time. My colleagues will be supporting me on this presentation. So I will call them up as we go along. Please feel free to use the chat. If you have any questions, you can send us a message on the chat and we will be glad to respond. And also, while we are presenting, if you have a question, you can just use the raise hand feature and we will be glad to respond to you. Thank you. So the first thing I want to talk about here is around hybrid work. And for all of us, hybrid work is not just coming, hybrid work is here. You see the stats, it shows that the people that were hired before the pandemic and the people that you have right now are different because their needs have changed, their preferences have changed. So for now, as we see, the focus for employees, it should be around meeting the needs and preferences of employers, should be around meeting the needs and preferences of their employees by empowering them with the right tools, with the right applications, with the right technology to enable them carry out their everyday work. And one of the things that we've seen is that Teams, having 270 million active users right now, has totally changed how people work more than any other app, as we have seen. And one of the biggest factors that has driven that change in how people work is the concept of collaborative applications. Teams by itself, we've introduced over 400 features in the past year alone just to cope with this whole need for hybrid work. So hybrid work is here to stay. Hybrid work is something that every employer should really be thinking about, how to make it possible for their employees to carry out their best work from whenever and wherever they choose to work. Next slide, please. So the question today is collaborative apps. What are collaborative apps? Collaborative apps represent a huge paradigm shift when it comes to the subject of applications in terms of how applications are built and how applications are used. One of the big things about collaborative apps that we see, is someone asking a question? Okay, can you help me mute someone? Can someone help me mute Tracy? Thank you. So collaborative apps bring business workflows, data, insights, and users right into the same place in the flow of work, which is inside of Teams. So the concept behind collaborative apps is simple. While you use Microsoft Teams every day for chatting, for meetings, for connecting with your employees and with other customers, why is it not possible for you to run your line of business applications or run your business processes right from within Teams? And this is what collaborative apps entails or tries to do for customers. One of the things we've seen, as a trend in the past, few years that Teams has been existing is that customers today are leveraging over 80,000 line of business apps that they've built to use right inside of Teams. And these apps transverse different areas. Some are around things like HR, recruitment. You have other things around IT support management. You have other things around customer care. Just being able to proactively engage your employees and your colleagues right from the same canvas, which is Teams. And of course, the beautiful thing about all of this is that some of these capabilities are already available today, and we're going to talk a bit about that, and some you can actually go ahead to build out by yourselves. So Teams allows you to really extend Teams so that you can leverage existing collaborative apps like third-party apps that we're going to talk more about today, or you can eventually build out your own app right from within Teams. So please let's go to the next slide. So today in the Teams marketplace, so right in your Microsoft Teams today, you have a marketplace where we have over 1,600 applications that have been built by several third-party vendors and are being hosted right in the App Store today. And just by going into the App Store, as long as you're licensed to use those apps, you can bring in those apps right inside of Teams. These apps, vary from Adobe to SAP, Workday, ServiceNow, Jira, Monday.com, and other enterprise-grade applications that some of you are already using in your business today. So whether you're a developer, you can leverage GitHub and use that to manage your code, review your code, and of course, the majority of these apps are all easily integrated. Some of them have APIs that you can even extend beyond the out-of-the-box feature that has been built into these applications. One of the things I want to quickly mention to us here today is that all of these apps have been built in conjunction with the third-party ISVs. And of course, they've been certified for them to be in the Microsoft App Store to cover, the necessary security requirements, just to ensure that, when you exposing your app via Teams, does not, open you up to any unnecessary malicious attacks. So that's the concept behind it. And I believe some of these apps that I've mentioned, you might be aware of them. And for those that you're not aware of, as we go in the context in the course of this presentation, you will be introduced to some of these applications that you can use. Some of them you're already using today, some of them you're aware of, and some you might not be aware of. But knowing that you have that extension within Teams, you can easily leverage it, right? And use it in your normal flow of work. The beautiful thing about collaborative apps, again, a high level reason for you to really consider collaborative apps is the fact that, number one, you can do your work right in the flow. So you don't have to context switch between Teams and your other business applications. For the most part, you can do everything you have to do right from within your Teams client. And of course, the other thing is that you are leveraging the Microsoft enterprise grade security that you already trust, right, by bringing your applications right into Teams. That just shows a bit about what we were talking about when it comes to collaborative apps. So you see the ease of use from within your application, from within Teams, and of course you can take quick actions, take quick steps right from within Teams without always having to log into the app just to make an update. And of course, these are real-time updates that happen. So once you make an update within the app in Teams, the update is also made within the third-party app. Now, we're going to play a video from our CEO, Satya, just talking about the importance of the Teams platform. And the Teams platform are the set of capabilities that enable these collaborative apps within Teams, and how critical the Teams platform has been, in making Teams that hub for teamwork, and making sure that Teams is very relevant in this new hybrid place of work. So, Swastik, please play the video.
The killer app, of course, for Teams is the Teams app platform, and how it has become the organizing layer for all applications you can use to run your business. Just like mobile devices completely transformed how people consume software, we are seeing collaborative applications in Teams transform how people work together. Collaborative apps represent a paradigm shift on how apps are built. Instead of the apps being the focal point where users go, collaborative apps bring business workflows, data, and insights to where users are. More than 1,600 third-party applications are available on Teams App Store today, and more than 100,000 companies have deployed their own custom line of business applications in Teams. We're seeing leaders from every industry, from Canva to ServiceNow, build apps that deeply integrate Teams and Microsoft 365 across their workflows. 3M has built a posted app on Teams to support all the ways people brainstorm and collaborate, including taking notes on Post-its. Handwritten Post-it notes are seamlessly transformed into a digital whiteboard by simply taking a picture. Using the power of the graph, the app assigns tasks, surfaces relevant documents, automatically groups content, and includes relevant notes, all within the Teams meeting experience.
Fantastic. So I just wanted to say, as I round up my section, that and there's a poll that is going to be put out for you to fill. And again, this is another example of a collaborative app where, while you're in a meeting, you can take feedback from everyone and collate that together. So a poll is going to be put out in the chat for us to take at this time. We encourage you to please fill in the poll with your answer to the question that is being asked. So one last thing I'm just going to say on collaborative apps is we have different various degrees of complexity of these collaborative apps. It's always advisable to start, from where you are by looking at what are the apps that you're already using, that if they are available within the Teams App Store, and then of course, if there are new capabilities that you want to make happen, we can look into the Teams App Store and say, what are some of those apps that can fulfill those particular needs that you have? So with that, I'm going to wrap up my session. If you have a question, you can please ask. But if not, again, you can use the chat to ask a question. If you want to raise your hand and come off mute, you can also ask. But I'll just hand over to Swastik as we continue with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mayova, for setting up the lay of the land and actually telling us that what are collab apps and what are the benefits of the collab apps. So it was a great session from your side. Just those who those who don't know me, I am Swastik. I am working as an ecosystem ISV PM, and my charter includes managing strategic ISVs in Middle East and Africa, including Israel. So, like for me, the core role is making sure that the ISVs are successful on our platform, as well as deriving the net benefit to the customers. Now, Mayova has clearly explained that what exactly are collab apps, and he gave a very good example of Jira and ServiceNow, how you can use it in Teams. We'll take a bit of a deep dive and basically want to do a further enhancement that how exactly collab apps maximize your productivity. So we want to walk through a user journey of Alex, who has just been recently hired as a new hire at Contoso, and we want to make sure via the user journey how the collab apps is maximizing his productivity. So so again, just a scenario that new hire, and for Alex, the new hire as a Contoso and has joined as a product manager. So for any role, when a new person joins, it is very important that he gets immersed in the company culture and how company culture plays an important role to make sure that his productivity is attained. As part of his role, Alex also has to collaborate with different stakeholders, and in a hybrid environment, it is very important that effective collaboration is a very key to being successful in any role. Employee engagement, again, a very crucial factor to make sure it's a productive environment and you basically thrive in a remote hybrid setup. So for an onboarding scenario, like for a new hire, it is very important that the company, sorry, any questions? Okay, I'll go ahead. So for a new joiner, it is very important from that he or she gets to have a differentiated experience, as well. It's very important for the company to provide a differentiating experience so that both of them, it's a win-win moment and gets an aha moment with that. So want to talk about how onboarding is better with Kunjani, and Kunjani is a MIA-based Middle East MIA-based ISV app, primarily an engagement app with a core theme of learning. I would pass over to Hans, who would actually demo that how onboarding is so better with Kunjani, and you would basically talk about these three factors: how it maximizes engagement, how the learning is accelerated with gamification, and how easy to is to create an onboarding journey with Kunjani. Having said that, I'm passing over to Hans. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Swastik. Allow me 1 second to
Yes.
share my screen.
Absolutely.
And could you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. So yeah, thanks, Rustic. My name is Hans. I'm a founder and CEO at Kunjani. And Kunjani basically enhances Microsoft Teams with gamification to upskill, onboard, and engage hybrid teams. We've been working with Microsoft for the past 2.5 years, refining our integration, and I'm quite excited to share it with you today. So firstly, I'd like to, Swastik already introduced us to Alex, the recent new hire at Contoso. So this is Alex. But I would like to wind the clock back where Alex was previously working at a company called XYZ for confidentiality, where he joined in the new hybrid era. So the onboarding sessions at XYZ were boring, Zoom fatigue deluxe, and Alex soon became fed up of the endless PowerPoints. So he often just switched his camera off and went for a coffee. This is Sarah, the HR onboarding facilitator, who's required to do all her sessions online. She does try and make it interesting, but talking to an audience that's mostly switched off without any feedback makes her feel as though she may as well be talking to a blank wall, and she hated it. So the reality is that James and Sarah are not alone. I think, in fact, all of us at some point have been subjected to a boring meeting, awkward onboarding process, or a dull learning session. And until now, there hasn't really been a plug-and-play solution to overcome this. And as a result, Alex felt lonely and disconnected from his team, especially compared to those colleagues that joined pre-COVID, which had already formed their sort of real relationships with some of their office banter. He never trusted or knew any of his teammates well enough to call on help when needed. And this disengagement reflected in his performance. He soon started looking for a new job, which we know he got at Contoso. So fortunately for Alex, Contoso has adopted Kunjani to power their onboardings. And this is Contoso's facilitator, Shanti, who I'd like to demo her workflow where she adds a leadership onboarding workshop to her Microsoft Teams meeting. So she's going to add an app, obviously going to add in Kunjani, and can conveniently sign in with her Microsoft account. She can then search through either the public or private library where she has a pre-developed deck ready to use for this session. We're going to save that. And then when she's ready, we're going to share Kunjani to the meeting center stage. Now, as the attendees join the call, Kunjani will automatically fetch their names from their Teams ID and populate the leaderboard. Shanti is then going to randomly assign everybody to 2 different teams, and just for fun, we can rename these teams. Okay, so I want to zoom in now and have a look at the interactive game dashboard. How the game works is in a second, Shanti is going to ask one of the participants to roll the dice. The dice is going to land on one of the suit characters that we see bottom right: Jolt, Advanced, Mystery, Blups, Explain, and Demonstrate. And this family have been genetically modified to accelerate learning by stimulating different parts of the brain. So let's take a brief look at each activity type. So starting with the Demonstrate, which is active learning. The Jolt deals with rapid recall and quick thinking. With the Advance allows for positive reinforcement, whereas the dreaded Blups deals with commonly made mistakes. With the Explain, we can dive deeper with higher order questions, and the Mystery is a fun, creative task. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to kick the game off by asking James to roll the dice. Notice his name turns yellow, and I would like to switch over to James's iPad and see what the experience looks like on his side. So you'll see he receives a pop-up notification asking him to roll the dice, which he's going to do. And his team has landed on a Demonstrate, and everybody is now presented with the activity that they need to complete in the time. So switching back to Shanti's PC, where she will start a timer. During that time, the teams are going to be preparing their response, and what's nice is that Shanti can access her notes and a suggested response to help guide the discussion in the right direction if need be. Once the timer's up and the teams have responded, we can move on to the assessment rubrics. I'm just going to minimize here. And Shanti would now use the built-in assessment rubric to award the team points. So I think they're going to be worthy of 3 for master. We're going to save that, and you'll see that those points now reflect on the first team's leaderboard. And the game really does bring the onboarding in a hybrid meeting space to life. Okay, so each company is obviously unique. So how easy is it for somebody to design their own Kunjani deck for an upcoming session?
Yes, Satya, I think
so I'm
you have
going
a
to
question.
quickly. Yes, sorry, I jumped in.
Yep. Hey, Hans. Yeah,
Yep.
I just wanted to ask exactly that, right? Like basically, like I have few customers who are also looking for something like this, and they have their own specific requirements where they want to build customized decks that they would want to bring up. Wanted to understand like what are the customizability options that you can provide by Kunjani?
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to show you. Thank you, Swastik. So let's have a look. I am winding the clock back before the meeting. What did Shanti do to prepare for the session? So looking at her in Microsoft Teams, can open the Kunjani app, and she's in the library tab where she can browse through a bunch of pre-developed deck templates that are ready to use for any onboarding or learning session. This particular session is to do with leadership, so we're going to filter for leadership, and you can see that there is already a foundation leadership deck that might be useful to it. So we're going to preview that deck, and Shanti has the option to either edit a copy of it or use it as is. So we're going to edit a copy, and now we can preview all the activities, times, and suggested response as they're going to come up in the meeting session. So we can jump through each of these, have a look, see if they're relevant for the session. But what's really cool, and this comes back to your question, is that we can quickly and easily add our own activities. So for example, we're going to add a new demonstrate question. And what we provide is a drop-down of ready-to-use demonstrate activity types that have been sort of tailored for Kunjani. We're going to pick one of those, and all we have to do now is complete the question. So we're going to make it relevant to our organization, paste a suggested response, and then maybe just adjust the time needed to respond to this question. Then we can enhance this activity by embedding some additional media like a picture or a video. So I'm going to drag a picture into this card and save it. And just like that, we now have a custom deck ready to use for an upcoming session. Did that answer your question on sort of the customizing aspect?
Yep, absolutely. If I can also ask a follow-up on this, right? This would be, yep. If I can also ask a follow-up, basically, this is very interesting what you just showed, Hans. I was wondering, like, do you have some quantitative examples of how your customers benefited, how their onboarding experience improved by using Kunjani app?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's well documented in learning sciences research that emotions make learning stick. And our assumption is that Kunjani's gamified environment would provoke these emotions. So we have worked with one of our customers who fortunately had recorded their pre-Kunjani onboarding sessions where they used, we call them traditional presentation tools like we saw at company XYZ earlier. And with all these meeting recordings, we were able to compare the efficacy of the traditional lecture format versus Kunjani's gamified environment. So we ran these recordings through an engagement analytics software called Spiky.ai that uses machine learning algorithms to analyze facial expressions and also natural language processing. So a quick look at some of these results. Some of the key takeaways of the analysis was the big decrease in neutral emotions, where happiness was by far the biggest winner. And then we were also not surprised to see that attendee talk time increased from 15% to 300%. Sorry, to 60%, which is a 300% increase in employee engagement. So yeah, to summarize, Kunjani can be so much more than just an onboarding tool. And I would like to share a deck with you that highlights how some of our existing influential customers have entrusted Kunjani to frame and drive their brand campaigns. So I think my colleague Abigail is going to drop a link to a deck in the chat. Then for today's session, like we've created a special one-time offer where we offer a 50% discount on a Kunjani subscription on Teams for your entire team. The link will be valid for 14 days. Please use the link to express some interest, and you can use the same link to also book a live demo with your team. We're happy to host a Kunjani session like this with any of your teams. So please take advantage of that. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity for me to share. And I'm open to, if we have any time, open to take any questions.
Thank you, Hans. I think this was really, really helpful. And do keep note of any questions in the chat if it pops up. We'll definitely love to get your answers on this. I think we have one question from Rahul Sharma. Go ahead, Rahul.
Hey, Hans.
Hi, Rahul.
Or sharing some definitely sounds quite interesting and new way of onboarding employees. So again, I mean, I basically manage a whole lot of customers, Microsoft customers, fairly large customers that have, these onboarding requirements. I'm just wondering, like, in terms of next steps, if somebody, has an interest and like, hopefully, I mean, we can bring you in to, do this presentation to them. And if they like it, what are the decisions that they have to make? So if they already have teams, what are like step one? I mean, there's obviously some licensing and subscription, etc. But what else in terms of change management, etc., that you can support them with?
Yeah, so like our success stories, which I think I'll highlight in that deck that we're going to share, did require a little bit of I want to say an adoption. And so what we offer initially, at least, is help them develop some customized content, especially just in the beginning. So we have a team that can dive in and take some maybe existing content and really tailor it for Kunjani. And then typically our customers would then use that as a benchmark. They've now understand the software and what value it can add, and then they tend to run with it themselves. So we do offer that little bit of hand-holding up front, which we've found to be beneficial for the customers. Did that kind of, is that what you were looking for, Raul?
Yeah, so again, maybe you can send this across offline, but again, in terms of subscriptions, so first thing, they got to sign up for subscription. Okay, great. Next thing, they've got to roll this out to their end users. Great. Third thing, so it's that kind of journey, the customer journey, to really be able to adopt Kunjani as their onboarding platform.
I think, yeah, exactly. And I think fortunately for teams, is some of the administrative stuff is automated, where an IT admin can add Kunjani to all the employees. And then there's a little bit of handholding where we would host a sort of an onboarding session like this. They get to experience it one, and then maybe in the same or a following session, really dive deeper in and like actually start using it to create a customized game for an upcoming session. And then take it from there. But yeah, I'm happy, probably offline, to share those kind of the workflows.
Please. Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing, if I can line up let's say a presentation to one of my customers for them to actually see this and maybe move forward with.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'd be happy to do that, and I'll definitely connect.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hans. Moving forward, great. Now continuing with our Alex journey. Now Alex has had an excellent onboarding via Kunjani, and now it's 2 months into the job. Now it's exactly work profile. Now, as Alex is a product manager, he has to collaborate with different stakeholders, customers, partners, execs, GTM team, dev, and QA. One of the most common challenges when we have to collaborate in a remote environment with different stakeholders is like basically following up, asking for the deadlines, what are these task items which needs to be followed. So, and as the team is in a different environment, hybrid environment, so it kind of becomes a like kind of a siloed experience. And so Alex wishes that there is some kind of a programmatic way of to handle this, that probably a board or something, that where he can actually get to one single source of truth, where he can actually get to see what are the status updates, how it is happening. So that is where probably we are going to bring monday.com. Monday.com is again an Israel-based company work operating system, and it has space in CRM, HR, project management, task tracking. I would basically introduce Ben, who is from Monday.com, where we basically talk about how work operating system or how work is made better with Monday.com, and then we can talk about how Monday.com makes our work life much more productive by all these four parameters. So over to you, Ben. Let me know if I'll ask you to share the screen and go forward.
Thanks, Hostik. I'm actually going to hand this over to Ido
Okay.
from our team, and he will be able to help out with this demo. Thanks.
Great. Go ahead, Ido.
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure what is the current time zone for each one of you, so just hope you have a pleasant day so far. I will share my screen. It's a great pleasure to be here. Do you see the Monday deck now?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Amazing. So first of all, I'm an enterprise account executive, and I'm working with mostly enterprise customers around EMEA. I know that some of the clients or the companies that already use Monday are also here, so that's good to see you. Just a quick, brief explanation about Monday and a few announcements, and then we'll go to the demo. So as you probably saw, Monday was named the leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for adaptive project management and reporting. We're one of the market leaders, and we were awarded for that thanks to our ability to deliver to our clients and to help them execute their business goals with Monday.com. I will quickly describe what is Monday, then we'll show you the product demo. If we'll have time in the end, I will talk about the enterprise offering that we have. And of course, as a good salesman, we'll always talk about next steps. So just briefly about us, we are, as you said, Israeli-based company, but we have offices all around the globe. We are listed in the NASDAQ, and we're working with many industries and many countries around the globe. And even most of our clients are non-tech industries and non-tech savvy, because Monday is very easy to adopt. As you can see, we're working with different logos. And what's nice about Monday is the fact that it can fit to any use case. So we bring you the building blocks, automations, integrations, dashboard, and etc. And with that, you can assemble any type of use case: HR, sales, project management, product management. So this is what allows us really to fit to your needs and basically be able to work with any type of use case. I will send a later about how big brands around the globe are using Monday for various use cases, but I will address today in the short demo how this is the main challenges we see around most of our clients, right? They have a hard time to collaborate due to siloed teams. This is why we are here for. They have a lot of admin work, and they're looking how to eliminate the human factor when it's possible, and they want to get this reporting and visibility to see where everything stands in one place, live data that you don't need to manually copy paste, that you can make actionable data-driven decisions. Not having those, of course, cause a lot of waste of time, a lot of valuable data to get lost, and it's really hard for us to optimize, to improve, and to get better as an organization. So this is why I present to you Monday.com work operating system. It's not a project management tool. It's basically a system that we can give you the different building blocks, as I mentioned. And today I will show you just a general product roadmap to help Alex with his task as a product manager. Let me quickly trying to get out of the full screen, and let's start from here. So just briefly about Monday. Now we are in the Monday platform. It's a web-based platform, but of course we can get it, see the same thing from Teams, and I will show you how it looks like in a second. The ability, the plugin in Teams or this app in Teams really enhance the power of Teams and Monday, because it allows your people, for example, if I go to Teams now, your people to see the same thing as they would see in Monday just from Teams, so they can really work and do all of their work from here. They don't really need to access Monday at any point. So this is really a leverage for using Monday within Teams organizations. And now I would like to show you a bit about the connection. And first of all, let's talk about maybe how we automate and easily automate our admin work. So Alex, as we said, is a product manager, and he needs to manage, of course, all the feature requests that coming from the client-facing teams, and in the end, presenting it to the leadership in a meeting that he has in the end of the week, where you want to show all the manager where is the status of the features, who is doing what, and basically manage his own roadmap, right? So just briefly about Monday, we have boards. This is what we call a board. So here, board is a roadmap, but board can also be, I don't know, an employee directory, for example, or a feature request board where sales and customer success are submitting feedback from clients in order to affect the roadmap. So first, we want to make sure that the salespeople are really, and the customer success are really filling up this form, filling up this table, because we need the data from them. So in order to do that, we have different options. We can set up an automation that will say the following. Okay, let's add an integration with Teams, saying the following. You can already see that we put it here. When send message status changes to send, please notify with this message. Hi, dear client facing, please fill up this feedback. Of course, you can auto-populate your message and make it dynamic and personal, and notify in this and that channel in Teams. As you can see in Teams, we have, if I'll go here, we have many integrations, but with Teams, we have already preset recipes that are very easy to set up. And now, if I'll click and change this button to send a message, and if I'll go to Teams now go to the conversation here, you will see that we just got a message that says, hi, dear client-facing people, please fill up your feedback in the feature request board. So now all of our salespeople can already come inside in this Teams channel and fill up their form for any client-facing feature that they got. So if they're asking for, I don't know, a better MS integration, MS integration, the product domain is apps, the name of the account, let's say HSBF, and they're looking to achieve better collaboration. They can, of course, add files, add any type of links, any questions that you wanted to ask them. Of course, you can edit the form to your liking. And what we will see here, if I'll go to the main table, that automatically the MS integration was streamlined here. I was informed by it because I was the one that needs to be informed on any changes. So I'm the salesman that submitted this request. And now Alex can really take this data, review it, see which accounts are related to it automatically, what is the value of each account. And based on that, he can really prioritize. Not only that, we can also tag and say, what is this connected to this request? See any files that are connected, what is the creation log, etc., etc. So this is the one way of really streamlining and starting to automating the work of the collaboration with other departments. And maybe go back just here because we'll see it in a bigger screen. But if I'm still in the feature request board, we can add many type of automations and integrations. So for example, we can even say that when an item would be created, notify this and that people in that channel. So if I go back to Teams now, you will see that in this call, we also got a notification. So now, for example, all the product managers team can see that there is a new feature that was submitted from HSPF. right? So that was regarding the automations and how easy to set it up. Any questions so far?
Yes, one quick question. So, like when we are talking working in a multi-hybrid team, I think one thing which comes out about the rules and the permissions. So, like it will be great if you can talk about how the rules and permissions are managed, because sometimes the other team doesn't want to view that. I mean, that how that is managed in Monday.com and the Teams app.
Okay, so thank you for that. So yeah, permissions, this is a very important feature for enterprise customers, especially because there's a lot of data. And once you set up this structure, you don't want people to ruin that for you. So we have different granularities from the account level where we can really create each permission, what an admin, a member, a viewer, or a guest can do. But also, if I go back to the board itself, we can also create a board permissions where we say who can view the data and who can edit it. So we can say that I will only view requests that are that I'm assigned to, and I will be only able to write updates, right? So we have many different types of permissions that we can do and play in order to allow the flexibility on the one side, but on the other side, constrain when it's possible. We can even say that, for example, maybe we don't want all of our people to see the value of an account. So we can just even say here, restrict the column view, and we can really say who can view this and who can edit it. So this is a different type of options for permissions.
Sounds good. I think this is like very critical in an enterprise space where where you talk with multiple teams here. Thank you so much for this.
Correct. No problem. So after we manage the automations and set it up the collaboration with teams, and let's say that a salesman really posted that he needs the MS integration to be better, and now Alex wants to follow up on him and ask and have more questions in order to review and connect it to the roadmap. So this is why we have the really good collaboration tool inside Monday that, of course, can be connected to MS Teams. So we can ask Ido, for instance, what do you mean by that? What do you mean, sorry, by that? Or what is the status of something? Of course, we can add GIFs and images, everything that collaboration can be more engagement. And now when I would tag him, he got notified by Teams, by Outlook, also on Monday and the Monday mobile app. We can even see if he saw this message. He will be able to reply to us. And now all the data is contextual to the same feature or to the same project we are talking. So if, for example, tomorrow Ido is leaving, we don't need to pass all of his emails to his new replacement. He can just come here and see all of the threads, all of the files, and all the activity log for everything that happened for this feature request.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Question?
No, sounds good. I think this is very clear that how the collaboration happens, and in a team, how this can happen across the teams. Sounds good.
Great. So that's about the collaboration. But now Alex needs to start, after having all the data in streamlined and easy way, he needs to start prioritizing and view the data in a way that will help him to make decisions. Because now, as you can see, he needs to assign the relevant project manager, right, for each and every feature. And in the end, he needs to get a status of where things stand. So for that, for example, it can change the way you view the data. So it can take, for example, a dashboard, okay, where it just created widgets. We have different type of widgets, whether it's battery, charts, guns, and etc. And here you can track what is the top requested features by value, or what is top requested by number of accounts. It can even add a battery widget, telling him what is the status of all of his features. And now we can see that he has 26.7 awaiting review. So he knows he needs to handle this. He can come inside, see what needs to be reviewed. He knows that he doesn't have a project manager involved. He can change the things from here. And another cool thing is the workload widget. So for example, here we can really track all of the workload of our project managers, and he would know who to assign the relevant feature. So here we have the unassigned features. We can, of course, change the settings. We decided that resource type is the product manager, and the capacity of each one is, let's say, 2 features per day, just as an example. And now we see that Ido Froim here is very busy, right? He has too many tasks. So what we can do, we can take this task and assign it now not to Ido, but to Moshe. And now, as you can see, Ido is still busy, so we can move this integration feature here. And now we have Ido's workload and all of our team workload much more balanced. So here we have different widgets that you can use for any type of use case. You can even end the Gantt, for example, or see the data as cards, Kanban, any type of view that really helps you control your data well. Any questions about the dashboards and the ability to easily create the low-code widgets? Good. The good thing about those reporting is that they're real-time. They are taking data from up to 50 boards, meaning that each update that is happening in somewhere else can be consolidated here. And this would be the one place where you can go any time of the day and see what is the status of your things, and also to act on. Last thing that I would like to show would be maybe the Monday docs. Okay, so let's say this is the document for the executives meetings. Okay, so this is a Monday document. This is a specific product inside Monday. Of course, Monday also integrates with OnePoint and ShareDrive. But this is also a nice opportunity or nice feature to collaborate with different departments. So let's say that Alex is now presenting this to the executives, and he can really have a live and breathing doc where he presents this to the leadership, and they can think about and get action items based on real-time data and already start and act on it, not just to present it. So they can see the Gantt. It can add, of course, the most required features. Once again, you will just add a widget of a chart, right? You will take the feature request. Then it will change the setting. Of course, very easy. The x-axis would be the, let's say, the name of the account, or let's say the name of the feature, and the y-axis would be the value of it. And now we already have what is the most required features. This it will show to the leadership, it will show them the goals. And from here, they will already be able to decide about actionable items. So for example, if they understand now, after seeing this executive meeting, that we need to plan a new Q4 for a new feature for Q4, they can immediately add it from here, right? And add a new feature, this MS Teams. They will put it in the product planning and in the roadmap. Of course, we can filter and decide what they will need to see. And it will be, of course, all connected to the Monday boards that also presented in the Teams app. It's all the same thing.
Yep. Sounds good. I think due to paucity of time, I think this looks good. And Ben, just request you to please share the the connection in the chat window, so that we can ask the customers so that they can connect with it. Thank you so much, Idao, for this. I think this is really helpful. And thank you so much. Let me again share Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And have a good time trying to collaborate with all the silo teams. We are here to help you.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. Cool. I'll just share my screen. Over to you, Dipen.
Awesome. Thanks, Swastik. Pretty cool demos. So in the next part, I want to talk about collaborative apps in meeting scenarios. So as rightly said by Mayowa in the beginning of the meeting, hybrid meetings are not coming. It's already here, and it's here to stay, right? And this is something that we are all experiencing it like every day, day in and day out. We have pockets of people working from different parts of the world, working and collaborating together. So even this meeting, most of us are connected remotely from different parts of the world, but still we are all in a meeting collaborating together, right? So this type of work, this is creating a lot of interesting scenarios where we can explore how we consume the data, how we communicate with each other, how does everyone in the meeting stay informed, everyone feels inclusive, everyone feels comfortable to share the ideas. So these are all the interesting scenarios which brings because of this hybrid meetings, right? Because of the usage of the hybrid meetings, which is increasing. And the new way of working has also increased the meeting minutes that we spend. Earlier, imagine if I wanted to ask someone for help, I would just walk up to the desk, hey, I need help. The person turns around, poop, 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 and I get the answer. But now it becomes a little bit more tedious. There are multiple levels to it. I have to send a message, hey, are you available? The person will respond after 10 or 15 minutes, yes or no, maybe set up a time. Then again, you have to set up a time. Over the meeting, you have to go through the top topics. And as you understand, there are multiple layers to it. And if you have a memory like me, short-term memory, after the meeting, I completely forget what was discussed. Then I have to think back, make notes, hey, what happened in the meeting? So that's where collaborative apps in meetings help you to make notes, to get the most out from the meetings without even leaving the Teams client, without switching between the applications. And additionally, with this, having an app running inside the Teams meeting, everyone will be updated about what is the discussion which is going to happen. Let's take an example of task management. Everyone knows that what is going to be agenda, who is going to speak, how much time they are going to take. And there are a lot of task management applications which are already available right inside the Teams. With that, Swastik, I'll request you to move to the next slide. Okay, coming back to our scenario, our famous employee, Alex. So Alex is all settled in. He's liking the company Contoso. Days are going very well for him. Now let's look at a day in the life for Daniela, who is a manager of Alex. So Daniela is a lead product manager, works out of Middle East Africa region, Middle East Africa customers, and she manages a team of 10 employees. Now, Daniela is she is like a star employee. She always is on top of her game. She's updated about everything that's happening with the team, the progress, the regular check-ins, reviews. Even her meetings does not go never goes overtime. So how does Daniela do all these things, right? That's where I want to talk about a application which is available in the Teams app stores, that is Decisions. Now, if we move to the next slide, Swastik, I want to talk about how the Decision app looks like. So if you can play the video. So this is a view from the Daniela's client that she has, or she already has a meeting which is set up, and the name of the meeting is Cart Demo. And right inside the meeting, we have an option to click on plus. There she can search for Decisions app. And you have to specify an tab name, so Cart Demo Agenda. And she clicks on Save. Perfect. Now, if you notice, we have a new tab on top of the meetings, Cart Demo Agenda. There we can specify and start creating agendas for the meeting. So the first agenda, the first topic is going to be kickoff and welcome note. Let's add. And here we can specify how much minutes we want to give for the kickoff or the welcome note. Specify the context for the attendees to be aware about, what is this going to be about. We can add images. We can customize the text the way we want. Also, we can specify if this is going to be information, decision, or discussion. Right, and we assign Alex because he's the one who's going to speak about it. Let's click on next one. Now the topic 2 is going to be decisions. This is just the same drill. We are filling in the descriptions for the attendees to be aware about. This is going to be agenda to get a feel of what this discussion is about. We can again decide what type of agenda this is, and we assign it to the second employee, who is Pop, and we save. Now with decisions, we can also have a break. We can specify a break. So let's put a break for 5 minutes. Perfect. Once the break is there, after the break, we always have the second half, which is the long part of the day. So we create just another agenda for the second half. Now, if you notice, this is all not shared. It's only shared with Daniela. She's the only one who is looking at it. Now, she can share this agenda. It can be through OneDrive or through Teams and channels. So here we are selecting public team, and public team has a channel, general channel, and we click on send and share. Now, this agenda is shared with the team members. Now, if we want to have a meetings, MOM, the meetings of minute, we can add meetings of minute, we can add a OneNote. Now, benefit of doing this is it goes to the team's OneNote, which is linked to the team. And also whatever we have created the agenda, it automatically goes into the OneNote as well. So we don't have to type it again from the scratch. Now, one final time, we can share the agenda. And let's join the meeting and see the in-meeting experience. Now, if you notice, everything we did that inside the meeting calendar, which was scheduled, even like when the meeting joins, the app shows up on the top of the screen. And here we can enable the timer. So we know 5 minutes, who has to speak for first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the time that we have specified. And here we can see the agenda, which we have already curated. Right now, if we go back, there is OneNote. Perfect. Now, if you notice in the OneNote, automatically all the agenda is automatically there in the OneNote curated. And every notification, the agenda which has been shared, everything is right inside the Teams client. So there is notifications which are coming into the meeting chat itself. Now, if we want to go outside the meeting context, we can search this app directly from the App Store, search, we can sign in with the account, and it will show up every meeting, the upcoming meetings and the past meetings where we had the decisions app added. And also we can specify, like if we are open to take more topics, we can suggest the topics, we can request the topic. So with the decisions app, we can see everything which is happening in the meeting space, right? So this is how Daniela has superpowers, right? She uses an app called Decisions. Now, this is not the only application. Like I said, there are a bunch of task management applications available in the Teams App Store, which provides the users to get more from the meetings, right, inside the context of the meeting without even switching between the applications. Right now, just to talk a bit more about the meetings, Teams Meetings apps. With the meetings app, like I said, it brings up inside the meeting context, but also there is another cool feature. There is a small share icon that shows the share to stage button. Now, let's say you are an ISV or a customer who has a meeting application where there is a lot of like telemetry reports, everyone is working and collaborating together. With the share icon, you can bring the stage, the application to the center stage. Now, this is different than sharing a screen because here the application is on the center stage, and just by clicking on the share icon, everyone can work and collaborate inside the meeting stage as well. Now, if you move to the next slide, Swastik. Now, switching gears, let's talk about polls. Now, if you had noticed, I had sent like one poll in the beginning of the meeting. So polls are another meeting apps, which is like a great way to gather instant feedback, maybe during a training, during a brown bag, which brings like better than it's better than having the polls, right? So everything the polls right works right inside the meetings app itself. Now you can gauge the team sentiments, you can vote for the right ideas. Like I said, there are a bunch of applications like polling applications also which are available in the App Store. So if you are using something, if you are already aware, like you are using some of the application that sounds familiar to you, feel free to try it out from the Teams application. So you don't have to switch between multiple windows. With that, I will hand it over to Aarti.
Thank you, Dipen. This is really helpful and basically covers Alex's journey right from onboarding to his day-to-day task and his meeting, and how the collab apps make sure that his day-to-day life and his productivity gets increased with the help of these 3P apps. Having said that, now passing over to Aarti to talk about app discovery. Over to you, Aarti.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much. And hi, everyone. This is Aarti here, and I'm the product manager in Teams Engineering team. And as my colleagues rightly said, and they have showed you like lot of these collaborative apps, and now in this section I will talk about like where user can find or discover these apps and install and kind of use it for their day-to-day life. Now this is the Teams app store, and this will help you to kind of discover and install your these apps, which are like we have like numbers of like 1000 plus odd apps which are developed by Microsoft itself, or maybe the partners like we heard like from Kunjani and Monday.com decisions. So all these apps that you will find in Team Store. Now, in order to kind of help users find their further discovery better and find the right app, so we have redesigned the Teams app store in such a way that the landing page that you see, if you can Swastik, if you can just go back a little bit on back
This
on the slide. Yeah, yeah. So if you see, we have redesigned the app store so that all the landing page will show you all the curated and the intelligent app that comes up, and on the and when user comes to the app store, he or she will see the sleek design of the app store with all the banners on top, so that they can find some of the apps that interest them, and right, they can install right from there. Even we have some of the editorial curated apps, so that we think that it might interest users so that they can use it. We also even have categorized that some of the popular apps that user can use based on their other colleagues are using right in the organization. So all in all, Teams App Store would help or ease the discovery of these applications, and user can kind of install these apps into the personal scope, Teams scope, Teams channel scope, or in right in the meetings as well. Now, you may ask, like, whether every user has to come and install these app from the App Store. Not necessarily, right? So we have even given a control to Teams Admin Center. And Swastik, if you can just move to the next slide, wherein I'll talk about, where how admins or the team service, team service admin can install or pin these apps to other users within the organization as well, and they can use the team's setup app setup policies from the Teams Admin Center to in order to do this. One side note there, so when your admins are pinning or installing these apps for the user, so when you make any changes into the app setup policies, be aware that it takes somewhere around 24 to 48 hours. So just keep that in mind while you are applying those policies. Moving on to the next thing, what if we are also giving you the control so that admins can make that necessary decision before allowing these apps to all the users, right? So they can find about where the data residency of these apps, individual apps, or what are the different languages supported by these apps. They can find out right from the program page, or Microsoft 365 compliance program page that we have, and admins can go into the for the each app. They can find out how the data is handled, what are the hosting providers of each of these apps, what are the supported languages these apps are using, etc. And then they can do the informed decisions before letting these apps available to all the users within the organizations. So I think that is what I wanted to cover from the App Store and the Teams Admin Center. If you just move on, and that brings up to the end of this session. So here is a call for action. So if you like this session and you would want us to reach out to you and help you bring your business applications into the teams, or you need any help bringing any scenarios into the teams, so please reach out. So I'll drop a form as well right into the chat, so please feel free to kind of drop your contacts to us. Yeah. With that, I'll hand it over to Mayova.
Right. Thank you. Arti, thank you, Dipin. Thank you, Swastik. So this is the end. This brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, we have just about 5 minutes left to the end of the meeting. We will be here. So if you have a question, you can ask. If you want to raise your hand or you want to put it in the chat, my colleagues will look at the questions in the chat if there's any, and they'll also respond to that. So we're just inviting you to let us know the kind of apps or the kind of problems that you would like to be able to solve with apps in Teams. And our team from Microsoft is more than happy to talk to you about those use cases. So please help us fill the form that RT has posted, and then we will be able to get back to you. Once again, thank you so much for your time. And I'll leave it if you have any questions. If not, thank you for your time and do have a good day. So we will still be online. So if you have any questions, you can ask us. We're still online. But for every other person, thank you for your time. I think you can feel free to drop at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
And for
Thank
all
you so
our other
much,
colleagues
Myra.
from Microsoft, thank you. Our other
Thank you so
Microsoft
much.
colleagues. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.